Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thanks for joining us. Topping the headlines, Emancipation 2012 celebrations kick off this Tuesday, and Dominican artists benefit from important tips on how to respond to copyright concerns. All these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. People involved in the music and film industry have acquired useful information on how to better manage their intellectual property. This is the result of a two-day workshop on intellectual property and management, which commenced last Friday. The workshop held at the Garaway Hotel was organized by the National Export Council Secretariat in collaboration with other partners. The activity covered copyright law, contracts and rights, and trademarks, among many other important facets of intellectual property management. Expert in intellectual property McCarthy Murray was a facilitator at the workshop.
The National Export Strategy has identified cultural industries as industries in which we can be globally competitive and which we can export from Dominica. Film and music are two of those that are specifically identified. And as film and music, as a money-making activity, rest on the foundation of copyright. So that's why we're starting this day's session with the copyright laws in Dominica, international dimension, and how Dominica fits into that. And this afternoon we're continuing with specific activities as to how you know the owner of copyright, how you use that to make money.
Marie, who has been advocating for the rights of musicians and artists in Dominica, says it is unfortunate that the work of some Dominican artists are not respected.
You go downtown, everybody's selling people CD and they're not paying them. Every shop is playing music and they don't want to take a copyright license. People run nightclubs, they want to pay copyright license. People own radio stations, make millions of dollars playing music for people and playing advertisements, they don't want to pay. Maybe they are taking advantage of the lack of knowledge of many people to bamboozle them with this ridiculous idea on the stations, for example, that we are promoting you. But no store takes promotion in exchange for milk. So when the guy has his baby to feed, he can't go by the supermarket and say, here's some promotion, give me some milk. He needs cash. Yeah? So if you're using his property to make money, it's morally right that you should pay him. On top of it, it is legal right to get paid. And anybody who doesn't do that is a plain thief and a lawbreaker.
Marie is hopeful that the knowledge gained from the workshops on copyright laws will assist local artists to better defend their rights.
Artists kind of pretty much understand that they have rights, but the problem with that is that they feel powerless against those who abuse their rights and they have little money to take legal action and so forth. So the people who use their works without permission and abuse them trample on their rights because of their relative lack of power.
Marie is advising artists and public performers to join a copyright agency. And an African showcase at the Old Mill Cultural Center on the evening of Tuesday, July 31st will kick off activities marking this year's Emancipation celebrations. Gregory Rabes, Cultural Project Officer attached to the Cultural Division, tells GIS News that the opening event will be one with a strong African theme.
And that's going to be a very interesting event because we have teamed up with Africans resident here, African nationals like Nigerians and so resident in Dominica, and we're going to put on a display of African fashion, African cuisine. We are inviting everybody who plan to come to the African showcase also to dress in African wear and African fashion, and we're inviting people to go on the stage as well at the Old Mill and model, and prizes will be awarded for that, and so that's going to be interesting, and African music and all of that. There will be an exposition of African art as well.
The Emancipation activities will continue on Wednesday, August 1st with the Golden Drum Awards ceremony at the Arawak House of Culture.
This is an annual event, and a number of individuals and organizations are going to receive the awards or being recognized.
Rabe says the traditional night will be held in the village of Maho this year. It will be incorporated into the Maho Reunion 2012 celebrations.
Friday evening, the action moves to Maho, the Maho Market, and that's in collaboration with the Maho Reunion Committee. It's a traditional night because every year we do have a traditional night, especially focusing on the drums and bele. So that's going to take place in Maho Market as part of the Reunion Maho event. But the important thing about the drums and the bele in Emancipation Celebration, because that is one of the strong retentions, if you might say, of our African music in that sense, you know, the drum, the belly dance and so on. And that is always a highlight or a part of Emancipation.
A major highlight of this year's Emancipation celebrations will be the Emancipation Hike, which is scheduled to take place on Saturday, August 4th.
We have the Emancipation Hike on Saturday, and that will be taking place on segment 5 of the Waitukubuli National Trail. That stretches from Ponkase through Formel and into Castlebrooks, right? And the importance of the Emancipation Hike, which takes place every year, is to retrace the old Kalinago trails around the island, or the old maroon trails, because again, the maroon, so what they call Negmao in Creole, played a very important role in sort of the struggle and resistance against slavery in Dominica, and contributed to the overall emancipation of slavery, because it was precisely because of the actions of the Maroons, not just in Dominica, but in places like Jamaica. Slavery, the whole slavery system became what they call untenable. It was difficult to manage the slave system at that point. So that was one of the factors which sped up the process of emancipation. So the Emancipation Hike is not only of symbolic significance, right, but it's also of historic significance. And some parts of the trail you would see like maybe like some caves, and we know about Jaco Flats, it's probably one of the best known camps of Maroons in Dominica. So these Emancipation Hikes get people to sort of kind of immerse themselves into that part of the history, but also it's a bit of recreation, leisure, and physical exercise.
The 2012 Emancipation activities will culminate with the Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair from August 10th to the 12th at the UWI Open Campus. The Independent Regulatory Commission will this week host a series of activities to celebrate its 5th anniversary. Activities planned include a community walkthrough, a seminar for electricians, an exhibition, and quizzes for children. A press launch to mark the start of the week-long celebrations was held on Monday at the IRC's office in Roseau. Its first activity was the unveiling of portraits of 11 past and present commissioners. Among them, Curtis Tong, Carl Duncan, Eliud Williams, Eustace Belvey, Francis Paul, Betty Fingal, St. Bernard Sebastian, Cassius Pierre-Louis, Noelise Knight Didier, David Cassell, and Dr. Eisenhower Douglas. Lancelot McCaskey is Executive Director of the IRC.
During the 5 years, we have established rules to promote consistency, predictability, transparency, and also to safeguard the environment of Dominica. One of the remits of the IRC is to ensure that the consumers of electricity in Dominica receive the best quality electricity at fair and reasonable prices. From 2008 onwards, we have been working with DOMLEC to ensure that the quality of electricity improves.
First Chairman of the IRC, Curtis Tong, who addressed Monday's press launch, said he was proud to be part of the infancy stage of the Commission.
We were very committed to wanting to provide quality service, great rates to the public, and we were absolutely convinced that IRC would be very important in the lives of Dominicans.
GIS News will bring you more details of Monday's press conference in Tuesday's newscast. And that news, when we come back, will bring you the upcoming events and government notices. Please stay tuned. Time now for your government notices. The Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission wishes to advise the public of the following license revocations. The principal license number DMPL 0006-10 of Mr. Stephen Lander, who has accredited to National Mortgage Finance Company of Dominica. Mr. Lander has ceased to carry on the business of a principal in the Eastern Caribbean securities market. The representative license number AG-RR-003-03 of Mr. Selwyn Horsford, who is accredited to the National Bank of Anguilla Limited, is hereby revoked effective July 19, 2012. Such revocation is pursuant to Section 65(1)(h) of the Revised Statutes of Anguilla Chapter S13 of 2006. Mr. Horsford has ceased to carry on the business of a representative in the Eastern Caribbean securities market. Please note that these licenses were cancelled and thus cannot be used to transact securities business within the Eastern Caribbean securities market. The Division of Agriculture is conducting a series of sensitization meetings to educate farmers, exporters, traders, and the public on the Black Sigatoka disease on Tuesday, July 31st, in Warner at the Warner Primary School at 4 p.m., in Tibo at the Tibo Resource Center at 3:30 p.m., in Sensi, Salisbury, and Crayfish at the Carib Council office at 4:30 p.m., and Atkinson and Batica at the Atkinson Community Center from 6 p.m. Please make a special effort to attend and to be on time. The Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs wishes to update their database of service providers, and they would be grateful if the following categories of skilled workers would call in to give their names and contact information to the ministry: mechanics, joiners, carpenters, painters, power washers, plumbers, electricians, masons, air-conditioned technicians, landscapers, welders, tilers, brush cutters, and any other skilled tradesmen. The telephone numbers to call are 266-3003 or 266-3497. The Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs thanks you in advance for your kind cooperation. All those concerned are asked to note the following hurricane shelters and shelter managers for the communities of Campbell, Canefield, and Layou. In Campbell, your hurricane shelter is the Campbell Government School. The shelter manager there is Hughes Canoville, and his assistant is Cedric Debonez. In Canefield, your 4 hurricane shelters are the Canefield Community Center, where the shelter manager is Simeon Albert, and Jefferson Macpherson is the assistant manager. The Canefield Gospel Mission Church, Newman Johnson is the shelter manager, and his assistant is Eric James. The St. Martin de Porres Church, where the shelter manager is Hilarion Jules and his assistant is Josette Andrew. And the Old Mill Cultural Center, Irma Lafont is the shelter manager there, and Veronica Graham is the assistant. In Layou, your hurricane shelter is the Layou Methodist Church. Shelter manager Julian Charles, assistant shelter manager Ronaldo Bully. Up next is the tip of the day. In today's tip, we'll discuss how the power of positive thinking can change your life. Positive thinking doesn't mean that you keep your head in the sand and ignore life's less pleasant situations. Positive thinking just means that you approach the unpleasantness in a more positive and productive way. You should always think the best is going to happen and not the worst. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on both YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thanks for watching.
Boy, that fish was well seasoned today, boy.
Talking about season.
Yeah.
What is the most important season in Dominica?
Mango season, yampe season, hunting season,
Hey, wait.
fishing season.
Nothing to do with any of these seasons. You remember what happened to us in 1979?
Yes.
Remember a few years ago when we bought a grain of fig for $1?
Yes.
I'm talking about the hurricane season.
So, prepare. And so just like your budget or your bank account, preparation for hurricane or hurricane preparedness is supposed to be part of our natural culture. It does happen, it might happen, maybe it will happen.
The way we build our houses, so that you not have to go to somebody's house. During a hurricane, you know how it is. People want to bring their cat and their dog and you want to go into all if you cannot ask.
And then you stay too long, you got put on your radio low, the bagay comes out.
Naturally, if your house is not safe, know your hurricane shelter.
So here's a very important point. Come a little closer. A little closer. Hear this. You can replace your TV or your microwave or your black, blue or raspberry, but you cannot replace your life. Your life is important and is irreplaceable. So protect yourself, take the necessary precaution, because there's only one of you and one of me.
And why should you survive a hurricane? I mean, you survive the storm and then go and go be all about and step on a live wire. That making sense?
It is your right and your responsibility to protect yourself and your family and your property. Remember, I ain't seen no supermarket in Dominica where they're selling spare parts of human body or human parts.
No breasts,
no thighs,
no legs,
no wings.
No, only human parts.
Yes, and you only have one of you and it come complete. So protect yourself.
At all times.
This is a serious message
Commission qui bien sauvé
from the Office of Disaster Management
or office là qui va se pour management des désastres
in Dominica.
This is a serious message from the National HIV/AIDS Prevention Unit in collaboration with the St. Martin's Secondary School Drama Group.
Let your spirit take to flight, let your heart run free and wild, find your soul in Dominica, the nature isle.
There's a point I want to share with you. They say there's nothing you can do about an earthquake. It's sudden. But there's something we can do. Having our family planning meeting in advance, just in case, to protect the children and the family.
Hey, nous pas parler condom, coil et tablet. So any monkey may kui, but when you're running, you must know where you're running to. Okay?
See me on Tremblant chair, an earthquake. You, your family, and your children, and everybody at home must know exactly what to do, where to go, where to run. And the other thing is that you must know your surroundings. Because in your pied-bois, you can trip and fall and get hurt. Another secret place to go is under a table. Don't go under a glass table or a window or a door. It will break and shikaye and cut you. Go under a strong table. You want to see how you come in? You get it? But it's not just to drop, cover, and hold. And then you have your head in your leg and you cover your head and you cover your eyes and Felix, tell them.
And yes, drop, cover, and hold. But only pour savoir comment labati know your surroundings, where it is safe in the house.
And one thing to remember, if an earthquake happens, You must find a secure place, and your bathroom is a secure place, a sure place, because the smaller the place, the more secure you are. So remember that.
And under a potager, the dresser is a very good place to hide.
I agree.
The closet, where you have all those old jackets and those kyang, all the shoes, is a very good place, it's a safe place. The closet.
That's a good idea.
And the bookshelf, n'importe place comme ça qui s'est tombé à sous, stay away.
A message from the Office of Disaster Management in Dominica.
Hey, I'm calling out to all Dominicans to embrace our culture. Not just once or twice a year, but all year round. We have a rich and unique culture that no one can equal to. Our bouillon music, our vibrant dances, our Creole language, and exquisite cuisine. It's all ours. Taste it, speak it, hear it, touch it, feel it, share it, live it. I am Sheldon Alfred, the Junior Calypso Monarch 2011, and I am Dominica. Are you?
Together we build, together we strive. We see it all on your Government Information Service, Channel 7. This is the Government Information Service, bringing you all that you need to know about all that's happening in your country's development. GIS, you and your channel.